go? It's all good to go, right. Could I invite Anthony, I think, Anthony Dale? Is it Anthony or Anthony? Tony. That's much more friendly, thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak. My submission, I realise it may read like a submission on the district plan, but I'm very worried to see how that the long-term plan may be overtaken by the planning developments in the district plan, which are very substantial. There's major initiatives there, and if I could just concentrate on one or two small issues tied up with that. So I live close to the area of Riccarton Road that's currently proposed for redevelopment. And this is very desirable in my view. I'm a habitual pedestrian around there, and it's good to see more public transport. And these kinds of pedestrianisation and public transport initiatives, I suppose, are what the council would like to see coming out of the long-term plan. And yet, on Riccarton Road, we see some of the really strong impacts of the district plan coming into play and interfering potentially with these kinds of redevelopment, so that it's currently come out of the submissions process in the district plan that the commercial fringe zoning that was formerly along Riccarton Road will be made commercial core zoning. Now that raises the height limit for that area to 20 metres, and quite apart from the potential impact on properties, residential properties close by, which has hopefully been dealt with a reduction in the limit. The area along Riccarton Road is now vulnerable to some very tall buildings being built along a...
Tony, I don't mean to interrupt,
Sorry.
but we are doing the long-term plan,
Yep.
and the district plan is going through a separate process that we can now no longer influence. So,
I'm aware of that. But
so can you tie what you want to tell us to some aspect of the LTP? So maybe bus priorities on Riccarton Road, I'm trying to be helpful to find a way that's in line with the LTP.
Yeah. So, okay, so the bus priorities and the pedestrianisation, I mean, especially the pedestrianisation that you'd like to see along Riccarton Road. The 20-metre high buildings do not tie in with that well. And what I would specifically like to say about that is I went along to the one of the consultation meetings for the Riccarton Road development, and the planners there were not aware of this potential impact. I mean, I suppose they're operating in their own particular space, but I'm very concerned to see these kinds of medium-term impacts coming from other areas impacting on the long-term plan. And the long-term eagle's eye view of what's going on in the city is all very well, that is in this long-term plan, but it can be so easily overtaken by developments. I mean, I suppose we would all like to see revitalisation of the city centre, and yet it seems at the moment that developments are being deliberately pushed out of the city centre towards areas around the malls such as Westfield and Bishopdale. That's not only commercial zoning but also residential zoning being changed. And finally, I'm concerned to see our asset sales program being potentially aimed at supporting quite ambitious, well, frankly dodgy developments such as a sports stadium, because sports stadiums are well known for being money losers, and you only have to look down south to see that. And so if we're going to sell off the family silver, I would very much prefer to see the asset sales being used to support worthwhile strategic development in the city. Something that might produce a return for us, sure, but especially something that supports the rebuilding of the infrastructure and the revitalisation of the city centre. And once again, I realise that the city centre is something that's kind of out of scope of the long-term plan, but we must be able to support it somehow. Thank you.
Very good. 5 minutes. Thank you very, very much. And thank you for taking my suggested line of contribution to the LTP. Thank you. Zorma Pringle.